There was a long time, I thought, what are these stories? Is it my imagination? What is it? It's only when I went on this path and I started reading books like Autobiography of a Yogi and The Life of Sri M and so many other books like this, right? That's when I realized, oh, there is a world and I have a choice. I can either help these spirits or I can say, I don't want to help you.
They say life is more interesting than fiction, but कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं जिनकी जिंदगी ही इतनी अमेजिंग, इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग और इतनी ज्यादा ट्विस्ट एंड टर्न से भरी होती है कि लगता है कि क्या हम एक बुक पढ़ रहे हैं या ये एक्चुअली एक रियलिटी है.
I literally made it as a joke. Every doctor I'd go to and they'll say, do you know you are serious? I said, yeah, you're not talking to a ghost right now. I'm alive. I did not have a choice but to convert it into a joke, right? And I think like I have cried and cried and cried, So I think my mom was taking care of me and I had to go to the washroom. But none of my joints worked. So I rolled.
My today's guest is someone who embodies what it is to be a rising phoenix. She's Monalisa Nagapillai and she's today with us on the show. Hi Mona, welcome to Unbound.
Hi, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our privilege. And वो क्यों है आप समझेंगे एक एक करके as things will unravel and unfold. But just to capture and begin right from the start, Mona, just give us your friendly introduction.
I want to start by saying that God is always kind and I'm blessed to have the presence of Mahavatar Babaji in my life. And no matter whatever happened, I'm here and my life is full of miracles. And I just feel that life is such a gift. And you will know through this journey of mine that why I even value life today even more than any probably did in my past. And I'm just blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be surrounded by one of the most amazing people in my life. I have an amazing family. I just be really, really grateful for every moment of my life.
Yeah. I think that was a list of gratitude, and it's so beautiful to start something new, something that you are set to do even now, like beginning a new chapter of your life on this note. So welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mamta.
Monalisa Nagapillai. So
yes.
I would like to track back your journey. Of course, this beautiful, fantastic human, spiritualist, healer, discoverer and mystic that you are.
Yes.
Where lies the roots? How were your beginnings? And did you always kind of knew intuitively or through some events of your life that you were divinely connected, guided, or intuitively you had this sense?
I think as a child, I first I remember with pictures. So I have a very clear pictorial memory.
Okay.
Like I remember, if I seen somebody's face, I'll always remember. I think growing up, I just knew that I am more sensitive to my surroundings and, very tuned to my mother's feelings, very tuned to everything that's happening around me and remember things. I think much later I got to know that's what the definition of empaths is. But the fact that I'm a channel and somebody who can talk to the other realm, the spirits, is when I got to know when I was just 4 years old and I was very, very attached to my maternal grandfather. And I used to stay with him and I used to play with him a lot. And even today I can draw and tell you how he passed away right in front of my eyes, which I didn't know as a 4-year-old that he's passed on, and I know that he had a heart attack right in front of me and he was wheeled to the hospital. And when he came back, he was obviously lying on the floor. And, and I went and asked my mother in South India, we call our grandfather Sata. And I said, why is Sata sleeping on the floor? And she said, oh yeah, don't disturb him, because she didn't want to say that he's no more. She must have thought, what will a 4-year-old understand that he's dead. So I said, okay. And, but I could see everybody crying. And the questions kept coming, why is everybody crying? And then when they were taking him to the crematorium, probably, everybody was crying. And I said, Mama, what's happening? Why is they taking Tata? So she said, he's going, to Bhagwan ke ghar ja rahe hain, the typical how we get to know. And for me, Bhagwan ke ghar jana is, maybe he's gone to Chandigarh or Agra or someplace,
Yeah.
And I had this ritual of coming back from school and going and telling him everything about how my life has been, what I did the entire day in the school. And, the relatives left and I went back to the school. I came back and I went to his room and I started talking.
Yeah.
And, and I was just telling him my day. I said, Tata, this happened and I had this for lunch and that. And I came out of his room and my mother was like, who are you talking to? I said, Tata is back, right? And my mom was like, really? And thankfully, nobody said anything. Maybe they thought I'm too attached to him. It's only I gathered that I'm the only person who can witness him. None of my cousins can witness him. And what is it? And that I'm very grateful to my family that nobody mocked me or thought, she's crack, or mostly, people will think, "Arey, iska ilaj karao." Nothing like that thought happened. And that journey kept continuing. And it really went full blown when I became an air hostess and I started flying and I started, going and staying in various hotels. Like in New York, we used to stay in a hotel, which in World War II was a hospital. And, they just turned out the furniture and everything and made it into a hotel. So many trapped spirits would come for help and they would just, initially I used to be very scared till I met my spiritual teacher and understood that this is what it called, that you're a medium and you're a psychic and you can actually see the other world and those spirits are coming for help and they will not harm you and there is a way to process them, there's a way to talk to them and there is a way you can actually, choose this journey. Or you can also pray to God and say, I don't want to be part of this journey.
So hold on a sec. That's a lot. In just 5 minutes, that's a lot. I want to understand that when you went back to that room.
Yes.
And you were speaking to your Tata who was no longer in
Yes.
his body self.
Yeah.
You were actually talking to his spirit or soul.
Yes.
As a 4-year-old.
Yes. And I could like how I'm having a conversation with you, I would tell him, oh, Tata, I got up in the morning, I took this for lunch and I came back and, and he would, and I honestly want to tell you that he's still my guardian angel. So I see him often. Whenever I'm very, very distressed in my life, he will just appear from nowhere.
Like you can actually
witness him
as an embodiment, like
no, not today.
Yeah.
And I just know, when I'm doing my channeling or I'm like really stressed about
his
something.
Presence, what do you feel?
Yeah, I hear him. I feel his presence. I hear his thoughts. He guides me. And I just know, that I'm always taken care of. I just know that he's my guardian angel.
But is he are they actually voices?
I can hear him, yes. And I can actually, and also a lot of times there's a telepathic conversation. I'll ask a question and he'll tell. So he appears in, various,
so like you're sitting here and
I'll feel his presence at my back. Yeah, a lot of times.
And then you can converse with him how we are talking.
Yeah, like that. And sometimes very silently, I'll ask him, how are you? Or, you're here? And he'll say, yeah, I've just come to bless you. And I just feel, how lucky can I be?
Wow. So in these hotels, what did you find?
Crazy incidences. Like, I think one of the times I was flying from Los Angeles to Frankfurt and I just intuitively knew that one of my friends would be there in Frankfurt. And I went and checked the crew list. Her name was not there.
She was also an air hostess?
Yes, she was also an air hostess and coincidentally part of my Reiki journey, part of my spiritual journey, and she was also a psychic and a medium, and that's one of the reasons I connected so well with her. And she was the one who made me finally meet my teacher and get into the path of Reiki and understand all of this.
But when you meet someone, if I can call like an ascended soul,
yes,
that they have something special like a power or a ability or a sense which is more developed.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know in first few interactions that, yeah, maybe this person is from that realm from where perhaps even I belong, or this is just a discovery that happens?
I think, like, you will see the same signs, right? They are more sensitive to your feelings. They are more
Hmm.
sensitive to the surroundings, the way they are interacting. They will have deeper understanding of a lot of things, Like, as a child, I was always labeled very sensitive. My mother would say, usko to 2 minute mein rona aa jata hai, or she's very sensitive, or she's very angry. And that's when I realized that, that is also because as an empath, I could actually absorb energy from other people and my surroundings and circumstances, especially when I go to crowded places.
So this is not come as a challenge in your way, Mona?
Initially, yes, Mamta. I'll be very honest with you, because as a child, I didn't know what to do with it, right? Like, when my
Because there's so much load of others' emotion. Like you're just, as a human body, as a human being, you are just getting acquainted to what you feel,
yes,
how you absorb, what you take, what you leave. Now, all of a sudden, if you have this sense or sensibility to be catching on to others' thoughts and emotions, then isn't it like you're always in conflict that should I think about myself here, or my mind is just too wandering and wants to empathize too much with that human that I'm even putting myself behind? Does that sort of happen?
I would just say yes. I was in that place. I didn't understand this.
How to
And
deal with
yeah,
that.
how to deal with it. And I think that's how you need a spiritual teacher in this journey.
Okay.
Who's somebody who can guide you, because unfortunately or fortunately, there are no reference books.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that you open a book and say, oh, today I went to this symptom and this is the answer, right? It's a lot of journey. It's a lot of discovery. It is not just one spiritual teacher, probably sometimes a combination of spiritual teachers. Books like Autobiography of a Yogi, which completely transformed my life, to book like, the latest Riem book, Apprentice to the Himalayan Master, right?
Okay.
Sometimes when you read those books, you'll be like, oh my God, there are such evolved spirits who have gone on a spiritual path or a similar path. Then you feel assured, okay, because I would not deny the fact that even as a child, when I couldn't understand these answers, this thing has occurred in my mind that, oh, is there something wrong with me? Is there some mental disbalance? Because the kind of school we go to, it's all about scientific. 2 plus 2 is 4. When in the spiritual world, 2 plus 2 is not 4. Right? So, like I said, there's no reference book. You open the book and say, oh, this is the symptom and this is what I can. This is discovery. Sometimes it's very scary. A lot of times, during my flying years, I have had encounters with spirits. No spirit ever harmed me. They always came for help. But I didn't know how much to help. Right? And I think one of the biggest things that have happened in my life is my sadhana, which always protected me. And today, like, I'm addicted to sadhana like any other drug, I must say, because I think that's my portal to all the answers. That's my portal to my mission in this life. That's my portal to why am I here?
Yeah. I'll definitely get to that, because that's a very, very important leg of this episode, which we need to definitely cover with you. But even before we get there, and coming back to where we got in middle, that you would be interacting with these spirits, trapped spirits.
Yes.
How would you typically help them in a human capacity when you're on your own journey? Or be it of evolution, discovery, or, just living your material duties? Like, how can you really help a trapped soul?
I think a lot of time these spirits are coming just to, confess. It's almost like, when you go on the other side, and like, how when we were growing up, we say we see our entire life. We actually do. In front of our eyes, we'll see the entire life. What lessons we learned, what lessons we didn't learn, and what are the patterns we repeated, the kind of people we attracted. And based on those incompletions, we will take a rebirth. If a soul is very tired, the soul will rest for some time. But sometimes the souls are not ready to transit, because they're not ready to confide and confess that they did something.
Oh,
so till
that happens even at the soul level.
Yes. And that time they keep wandering till they, accept. And that is exactly what happened in Frankfurt. Like I said, I was waiting for my friend, and she was not. I saw her clueless. She was not there. And then the moment I reached my room, she called. She said, my flight got cancelled. Maybe that's why that's why my name is not there. So why don't you come to my room?
So she
Uh,
was there actually.
yeah, she was there.
Oh,
And
but her
she's-
name was not there.
Yeah. So like I said, intuitively I knew that she will be there. And she said, why don't you come to my room and we will have dinner together. Now the thing is that I have flown in from Los Angeles. So next day I'll have a clear day to stay, while she will take off from Frankfurt to go back to India. So next day she will have a flight. That's how the crew system works, right? So I went to her room and I had dinner, and then I was sleepy and I said, let me go back to my room. And I went back to my room, and I was at that time a part of a very, very evolved spiritual group. So we used to get a lot of homework. It's very simple homework like give Reiki to a plant, or do your cleansing, or do cleansing for somebody, a lot of homework. So I finished my homework and I slept. The moment I lie down, like how I'm having interaction with you, I heard 3 men speaking in German English in my room.
What?
Yeah. And they were not allowing me to get up, and my eyes were closed and I couldn't get up, but I could feel their presence. I could feel their footsteps. They were talking and they were watching, and I'm like, why are you here? And I could understand that they're not in like human form. I could understand that. And they said that, we have, because my eyes were closed, I could see. They said we have raped a woman and cut her into pieces, and there was a bag. And I said, this is not something I want to tackle.
Mona, this is a picture right out of a horror movie, or maybe a mystery book or something, right?
Yes.
This is so,
and
it's vivid in your memory. It's
100%. I can draw the room. I can tell you which couch, where was the kettle, where was everything, right? Because such high emotional intensity memories, you can never fade off from your this thing, right? So I'm just thinking now, what? There are 3 men in this room and they have raped a woman. And I said, what do you want from me? He's saying, nothing. You are a channel and we want to confess and we want to pass over.
That's it.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I'm scared, right? It's a very new experience for me. And I'm thinking what to do now. So I thought, coincidentally, my friend is here, who's also a psychic.
So your intelligent mind is also pretty much at work.
100%. Yeah.
So you're pretty much in your consciousness.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, because I'm not able to get up, but I am awake. So why don't I, because, through Reiki, you can also, channel communication with each other. So I just thought, she's my nearest person, right? So why don't I call her? And I'll ask for help.
Psychically call her?
Yes. Right? So I said, let me just call her. But anyway, those men left. I got up, I switched on the lights, and there was like, I could feel that energy in the room, and I protected myself. And I finished the rest of the homework because I thought I need protection. And of course, I whatever way I can release them, I release them. And I think now the story begins. So I come back to India and I call up my friend, and she said, Mona, something very strange happened in Frankfurt the other day. I haven't said anything to her, right? The reason I did not call her after those souls left is because I thought, she has an early morning flight. Why should I bother her? And I still remember when I switched on the lights, the time was 3:02. And for a long time I thought, 3:02 is not moving. I really panicked. I said, what is it?
That the time got frozen and
something
you got
like
stuck
that.
in some moment.
I just thought, what's happening, right? And then when we reached India and I called her, and she said, something very strange happened the other day in Frankfurt. She said around 3:00, I got a call on my phone. I picked up the phone. You were breathing and you were not talking. And you were saying, I need help. And she said, I said, why is she not talking? I kept the phone down. I called up the concierge and she said, it's an internal call. We can't track it. And she said, were you in distress? And she said, and something even strange I remember. She said that day, when you were going to your room, I didn't want you to go to your room. I wanted you to sleep with me. She said, by the time I came to the corridor, you were there and there were 3 German men.
Oh no!
Behind you.
No.
Yeah. And then
she could see it too.
And I said, next time you see any men around me, you
please come. Oh my God.
Because
she's also a psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there was a long time, I thought, what are these stories? Is it my imagination? What is it? It's only when I went on this path and I started reading books like Autobiography of a Yogi and, The Life of Sri M and so many other books like this, right? That's when I realized, there is a world and I have a choice. I can either help these spirits or I can say, I don't want to help you.
तो क्या आप आना चाहेंगे अनबाउंड विद ममता पे अनबाउंडिंग के लिए मेरे साथ? कोई स्टोरी, कोई आइडिया, कोई थॉट है आपके पास जो आप चाहते हैं कि दुनिया सुने? तो मुझे लिखिए unboundwithmamta@gmail.com. That is unboundwithmamta@gmail.com. या सिंपली हमारे किसी भी इंस्टाग्राम पोस्ट को या यूट्यूब के एपिसोड को लाइक, शेयर या अपने कमेंट्स भेजिए. माय क्वेश्चन इज दैट yes, one can believe, one can read, one can get inspired, one can look at movies, one can look at others' journeys. But to be literally getting and stepping into that belief and raising and rising yourself up, I mean, where does that metamorphosis really happen? Where you say, "Theek hai, I am here, down on the floor, not knowing this could be the end of me. This could be the end of me. But I am still wanting, willing, and looking to believe and create another reality."
I think वो हिंदी की वो कहावत है ना, डूबते को एक तिनके का सहारा चाहिए होता है. I think for all of us there always hope. It's about which hope do you want to pick up. In my case, it's my son. You know, and during my past life regression, during my journey with him as a mother, we have had many, many incomplete lifetimes together.
Okay.
You know, we have, similar birthmarks all over our body. Yeah. He remembered his past lives when he was growing up. Till 2-3 years, he would keep saying random things, about his past life.
Yeah.
So for me, I think when doctor said you will not make it and you will die, I just looked at my son, I'll be alive for him. I literally made it as a joke. Every doctor I'd go to and they'll say, "Do you know you are serious?" I said, "Yeah, you're not talking to a ghost right now. I'm alive." I did not have a choice but to convert it into a joke, right? And I think, Mamta, when you asked me this question, I don't think so there is one answer to everything. It's a combination of surrender. Like I have cried and cried and cried, I think.
Tell us about that instance where you had to crawl.
Yeah. So I think my mom was taking care of me and she was not there. She had to, go somewhere. And my husband was also not at home. Otherwise, they wouldn't have left me alone. And I just thought, anyway, I'm sleeping. And I had to go to the washroom. And, I think that was ego crushing at a very age. I was an air hostess flying all around the world, right? And here I was, bedridden, who couldn't even hold a spoon. And I had to go to the washroom, but none of my joints worked. So I rolled. I always do, actually. So I had to use the
sound. Okay, sound is okay. You're fine.
Yeah,
you're better.
Yeah. So I had to use the washroom and none of my joints worked. So I rolled myself out of the bed and I fell on the floor.
You actually rolled yourself out of the bed?
Because there was no other way. None of this worked. None of this worked. I couldn't hold a pen. Like, pen though, it's out of question. I couldn't hold my spoon. My mom had to feed me food, and
yeah,
my husband had, let's just buy a wheelchair for the time being. I said, no wheelchair. So I rolled myself from the bed, and even to crawl, this needs to work.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because it has to carry your weight forward.
Yeah, none of this worked. So I literally like a snake
swiggled.
Yeah, to the washroom. So we had actually put door jammers on all the doors because I couldn't open any of the doors. And then I reached the commode, but how to get up to the commode now? Anyway, the entire trip almost took, I think, 1 hour. And then I just looked at the sky and I just, like, on my ceiling, of course. And I just cried and cried and cried and cried. I think I've never cried like that, you know. And I think part of this journey is also allowing yourself to feel those emotions, right?
Yeah.
Because you're so clouded with those sadness and those feelings and the, you know, doctors telling you won't make it and doctors telling you you're so serious, or, you know, all those things, right?
Yeah. You're like confronting. I mean, death is not there.
Yeah.
But you're confronting it every moment, and
Yeah.
everything is reinforcing that death
Yes.
is there.
And there's, in all of this, there's no hope.
God, I have goosebumps. Yeah.
And in all of this, Mamta, there is no hope. And
There's
that's
no
why I'm here. I want to be that hope for people who say, you know, this is the end. No, this is not the end. This can never be the end. Anyway, so I came back and I cried and cried and I told God that this is not the end. I have to be alive for this little child, you know, what will happen? Like I said, आपको कोई भी एक सहारा पूछ सकता. The hope is always there. You know, you have to find that hope. And there is no one answer. It can be believing first that it can be healed. And literally, I had a filter. You know, when it came, I had a filter. When doctors will say, you know, few of the doctors have said, do you even realize how serious you are? I said, I am. You know, he said, why are you smiling? I said, I have a choice, right? In this moment, I'm making a choice to smile. And I think for me, my son is my angel. He has the habit of writing diary, you know, and he has to write 5 things he's grateful for. One quality he liked about himself today, one quality he liked about somebody else today, and one thing he failed during the week. So when I was bedridden, he was 7, 8 years old, or maybe, yeah. And he came and gave me the diary. I couldn't read it. I told him to put it on my bedside table, and later my mom read it for me. You know, for a 7-year-old, what does superwoman means? You know, the superheroes, like, you know, the Hulk and all of that, right? He's written, you know, my mom is very brave because she smiles for me, but I know she's in pain. You know, and I think that was the point I decided. This can't be the end. I have to be, you know, I have to, I don't want to say fight it out, but I need to allow myself to feel, which I have not allowed myself to feel.
Yeah.
You know, I have to, like I said, you know, last year when I was helping my friend, I realized I never had any boundaries in my life. Right? But like I said, your body is always keeping the score.
Yeah.
Always. You think it's not, but you are. Like, I was this perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect air hostess, the perfect homekeeper. Who was Mona in all of this? Where is Mona in all of this? You know, and that's, so like I said, there's no answer. There is a little bit of every answer. But all I can say is, there is hope, and this cannot be the end for anybody.
Wow. I think I am definitely truly going back home very, very, very inspired, rejuvenated in that just one sentence, that there's always hope, and that hope can be anything.
Yes.
Like literally anything. You could be drowning in an ocean, and that hope could literally be that tinka.
Yes.
So beautifully said. So coming to you finding, fighting, standing, resurrecting your soul, and being here where you are today, what are you up to right now, Mona?
I have started my journey called Heal Beyond the Body.
Okay.
Where I actually want to teach people how they can actually, I don't like the word fight, how we can heal together. That there is a life beyond this diagnosis. And like I always say,
this is a book on your journey.
No, this is also a book, and I also have started my Instagram.
Okay.
Where I will have programs for people, from 3-day programs to residential programs, where we'll heal together. Because every, you know, autoimmune or every such chronic illnesses has a triangle component. One is your physical part, which is about your health, about what you eat, no gluten,
how
no
much
dairy,
you're sleeping, exercising, etc.
One is your inner child.
Inner child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is about all the somatic workshops and why are you healing, why are you holding on to this, what emotions, right?
Yeah.
And a very important part is that we all are, spiritual beings having a human experience, right? So why did your spirit manifest this? What is in your chakras which you're still storing? Because we're not existing only in this physical body. We're also existing at the spiritual body, right?
Yeah.
For me meeting my teacher and my sadhana was actually a combination of this healing alignment, which I call as the triangle alignment.
Okay.
Right? And this is why I really, really, really wish people know that there is hope and we can heal together, and do not listen to these diagnoses. This is my favorite quote, that we are not here to heal our diseases. These diseases are here to heal us.
Yes.
And take us into a magical journey of self-discovery.
Wow. I think this show is about self-discovery. This show is about inspiration. This show today is all about hope as well.
Yes.
Before we really call it a wrap, it's been a very, very, very moving narrative. You really coming out so graciously, owning up and sharing wholeheartedly with us. Deeply moved and deeply graced that you really found Unbound.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
and
for
this
this
space to,
opportunity.
honor your own feelings, honor your life, and have this conversation. But before we call it a wrap, this is just at the faggot of the show. I do a fun round, which is called a rapid reflex round. It's a quick volley of questions. Sure. And definitely, Mona, we would love to have you again on the show, because there's still so much more that needs to be spoken about, your discovery, about also now your newfound journey with your authorship and whatever you're setting yourself to do, and definitely wishing you luck there. But before we really, really call it a wrap and an end, this is a rapid reflex round, quick volley of questions. Are you ready for it?
Yes, absolutely.
Never have you ever, just in a fun way, tell us in one sentence, just complete this for us.
Killed anybody?
Okay. You literally killed that doctor. Yeah, come on, please. You must be like, what just happened? Okay. If not for what and where you are today, perhaps, like, we always think, मैं ये भी कर सकता था, मैं ये भी बन सकता था. Where would you have been?
I would have been a painter. I would have been an artist. Painter. I love colors. I love art.
Okay. Something which is and I'm sure you have a very ritualistic life and a very disciplined life, but I'm still asking you that something which is like the first ritual of the day that you abide by, like.
Oh, saying thank you. Before even I put my feet down, I say thank you, and I send white light to all my loved ones.
Oh, okay. And one such thing which you do as a wrap-up note on your day, like a kind of a ritual or a bedtime routine you do?
Gratitude journal.
Gratitude journal. Okay.
Yeah, I chant.
You chant. So you are also initiated into Buddhism?
No, into Kriya Yoga.
Into Kriya Yoga.
I love Buddhism. I don't restrict myself to any philosophy.
Right. Yeah. Right. Favorite food?
Pan Asian.
Okay. Favorite holiday destination?
Can I say cliche?
Yeah.
My home.
Oh, nobody has said that on the show. You're the 76th guest and nobody has ever said that. So I'm glad.
I think I've traveled all around the world multiple rounds.
Yeah, because of your profession.
Home is the best.
Yeah. So, one thing which is just as of course, there's so many life lessons we are taking back, but one thing which you very particularly want to emphasize and put focus on, especially to this generation, maybe anything as a message that you want to say to the camera, you could say that.
I would like to say that life is always happening for us, and if you're open to life, you can only see life lessons and miracles.
Wow, how profound. Any particular book or Netflix series that's high on your recommendation? Thumbs
Autobiography of a Yogi,
which has to be read with Mona Lisa, and I missed on that opportunity too.
Oh my God, that is not a book. It's not a book. It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, and you have to surrender to that book. If you don't surrender to that book, it took me 11 years for my first read, because I was
11
coming
years to
for my
complete
first
that
read.
read. Oh my
11
God.
years.
Okay.
It's a journey. You have to surrender to the book. You have to surrender to the masters.
Any regrets?
I think when I related to this, probably that when I really got initiated so many years back, I was not open to it. No regret. I would just say I was not open to it at that time.
Maybe your time. Yeah.
There's
but,
always a divine timing.
Yeah. Someone that you're crushing on currently. Because looking at you, I'm sure a lot of people will be crushing.
Cliche again.
Yeah.
I think my son.
Oh.
He's my angel. He's my darling.
He's your angel, he's your darling, he's your crush.
He is
of
my
a
biggest
lifetime.
teacher as well.
He's your best teacher.
Oh my God, he's my best. He's a sadhu. Me and my husband would say,
Yeah.
behave like a child.
Evolved soul.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. We are blessed to have him in our lives.
Yeah. Any soulful quote which is always up there? You know, we always have our go-to quotes, something that we often repeat.
I think for me, this has been what I've also heard from my teacher. And initially when she taught us this, it sounded very crazy. That सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है.
सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है.
It's a chant. And initially when
But नहीं हो रहा है.
Oh, वही है. जिस दिन आप ये मान लोगे कि आपके मन का हो रहा है, आपको सब चीजों का सेंस समझ आएगा. I'm telling you, when she made us chant this, I'm like, she's gone crazy.
So when the late Shri Harivansh Rai Bachchan ji said कि मन का हो अच्छा और मन का ना हो तो और भी अच्छा.
Correct.
So it's like,
yeah. So our teacher makes us chant this, and she keeps reminding us, सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है, सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है. And
okay, let's do the chant 3 times.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah.
सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है.
सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है.
सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है. सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है.
सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है. Wow. There's a lot of peace in that.
Yes. There's no question. There's only surrender.
There's no question. There's only surrender. And what's the toughest to surrender?
Last year, when I told you that skin thing, I did not surrender. Life made me surrender. Babaji made me surrender. There was just no other way. I couldn't have gone back to him if I wouldn't have surrendered in that moment.
So for all of us who are those wandering souls, who are still on a lookout for that teacher, that master, that inspiration, you know, कि वो एक ray of hope चाहिए जो हमको. I mean, what would you want to say to them?
Like I said, surrender. Life is our teacher. If we are open to it, life is absolutely full of miracles and life lessons. Everything that is happening in our life is for our own good. Whether we believe it or don't believe it, it doesn't matter. And when you come with that faith and that intensity, life really becomes joyous. Of course, you will go. It's not that मैं बहुत साधु बन गई हूँ, मुझे कोई गुस्सा नहीं आता या मैं किसी को judge नहीं करती हूँ. That's part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
But the ability to come back to it and say, you know, सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है. I have only manifested this. I have only manifested this illness. I've only manifested this, you know, person in the form of my biggest teacher, even if that person is triggering me, right? I think that's the beauty of this journey.
Wow. So एक बार फिर से सब कुछ मेरे मन का ही हो रहा है. So it's the choice. It's the choice of, and it's the power of that I have manifested.
Yes.
How
Yes.
so beautiful. So where can we catch you, Mona, if we are really someone's looking to have a guidance or, you know?
So I have my page called Heal Beyond the Body. Just
Okay.
follow there and you will get to know all the programs which we offer.
That is Heal Beyond the Body on Instagram.
Yes.
On Instagram, you can reach out to Mona Lisa, and she can guide you and she can make a difference.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Mona,
you.
once again, for being the gracious you, for
Thank you.
bringing so much light,
Thank you.
and for really, you know, inspire us to look beyond. I think we all are too wrapped and too lost in where we are कि हमें लगता है बस वही है, उसके आगे कुछ निकल नहीं सकते. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to Babaji. Thank you to
Thank you.
all the amazing people in my life who has made this moment for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's keep unbounding together.